Hey, it's Doug, I hope you're doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you my tips for staying focused when practicing singing and not getting distracted. Let's do it. So let's get into it. So when it comes to practicing, we all know that the more time that we put into something, provided that the information that we've got is good and we're actually doing it correctly, generally the more experience we gain, the better we grow in that skill. So singing is no different. Now, you're going to grow much faster and much better if you're doing, let's say, 3 hours of practice a day versus 5 minutes of practice a day. That's very clear. Everyone knows that. I'm going to say for this video, let's all aim for 1 hour of practice, let's say 5 days a week. I think that's very doable. It's not even asking too much, to be honest. Okay, so let's just say practicing 5 times a week, okay, with 2 days off, and making sure you get that solid hour every day for, let's just say, the weekdays for this example. So with that said, let's hop into the tips and I'll share with you everything that I've learned with over 6 years now of consistent vocal practice, as much as I can. So my first tip is to turn off your Wi-Fi or mobile data or notifications in general on your phone and your computer if you're receiving them, because honestly, it's time to focus and sing and not get a random Facebook notification, Twitter notification, random email. That is not the time for that. It's time to practice. We spend way too much of our lives already involved with that kind of stuff. For me personally, I feel like it's gotten even worse over the years, if you know what I mean. Like, we are getting even more and more connected that it's really incredibly important to stay away from it for at least some parts of our lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of us work in front of computers for work, and then we go home and we look at screens too. So it's amazing to just not have to do that, sit with my guitar and just do my scales. You know what I'm saying? It's really good. It actually feels like a good break from all that. So that's the number one thing I would say. So that leads me to tip number 2, which is getting an egg timer, setting it for 60 minutes, and then just starting it. And as soon as you press that start button, in combination with obviously not having your notifications go off on your phone, you're going to focus because you're losing seconds as it goes down. So if you've allocated yourself 1 hour each day, if you start messing about on your phone, if you, suddenly get hungry and go to the fridge and start eating something, okay, your time is going to lose that precious 5 minutes that you might have had for singing practice. So I personally find this very useful. It seems very great for just, obviously I already said it, but just pressing start and having my mind just go into a work mode. You know what I'm saying? So you just press start, it's time to practice, and honestly, it probably helped me 20 or 30% just by getting it. And it's really cheap too. I think I got this for like $1. Cool. So tip number 3 is understanding your own willpower when it comes to singing. So I personally have more willpower to put in a great practice session earlier in the day. If I become tired, it gets closer to nighttime, I'll actually have less mental energy and less focus when it comes to my singing practice. Okay? So if I were to choose a 11 a.m. session versus a 9 p.m. session for practice, I would always choose the earlier one. Okay? And I understand that, a lot of us work during the day, but even on the weekends, you can really have a chat to yourself and kind of figure out when the best time is for you to practice to get the most out of your own energy. But I actually used to experience becoming very tired after I finished my full-time job before I became a vocal coach. And I actually had to set a habit in for me to make sure that I was practicing, the 5 days a week or the 6 days a week that I wanted to. So what I would do is I would finish work at 5 p.m. And let's just say I got home at 5:30. I'd say to myself, okay, by 5:35, before I relax, before I, just hop in front of the computer and just start chilling out, I'm going to make sure that within that 5 minutes that I get home, I'm just going to jump into singing practice. Because if I don't do that, the willpower is it's just going to go down. So that really worked for me. You've got to find what works for you, but I think you should have a conversation with yourself to figure out, if you're practicing on the weekend, for example, maybe the best time for me to practice is earlier in the day so that I'm really mentally focused and I'm ready to go put in a great session. Tip number 4, I want you to practice things that are at a really good level for your voice, that are just challenging enough to keep you interested and feel that you're moving along. If something is too difficult, you'll get overwhelmed and physically and mentally overwhelmed when it comes to that. And also, if you do things that are too easy, you'll become more uninterested in what you're practicing. So it needs to be a perfect balance of challenging you, but not so much that it overwhelms you. Okay. And really, you can start to see small amounts of progress every time you practice. That is ideal. So I actually took this idea from the concept of being in a flow state from, I guess, positive psychology is where the term came from. And basically in this state, the idea is that, you're not worrying about anything else while you're practicing. You are fully engaged. You're not worrying about, what you're going to eat for dinner or what you're going to do tomorrow, whatever. You're just focusing on that because it's more satisfying when you're in this state. Like I said, you're not getting frustrated. You're not feeling disinterested because it's so easy. There's much less thoughts racing through your head and you're just focused on what you have in front of you. Okay, so tip number 5 is finding the fun in singing practice so that you can enjoy the process of improving your voice. Now, if you don't enjoy the process of actually developing a voice, you are honestly missing out on half the fun, because it is the daily practice where you get all the major insights and, the voice just works the way you need it to. If you want to work on, say, 3 songs to have ready in 3 months' time, and you spend the whole 3 months of practicing in like a grueling sort of mindset, like, oh, I got to practice tomorrow. Oh, I got to do 5 hours of practice next week. I hate to break it to you, but performing those 3 songs, even if they're really good, is what? 10 minutes of enjoyment versus 3 months of grueling practice. You got to find ways to enjoy the vocal practice. So here's what I do. I challenge myself to do the scales the best that I've ever done today. Okay. So if I suddenly go up really high in a scale and it's higher than I've ever gotten before, I say to myself, wow, I can't believe yesterday, I got to this note and today I'm absolutely soaring past it. I take that as a win. If I'm doing lip bubbles, something very simple, but it feels better today than yesterday, I take that as a win. If I'm singing a song and finally I get the right tone that I want, I say, yes, that's good. Yesterday was okay, but today was even better. So I try to hype myself up so that when I go to practice tomorrow, I start to think, I wonder if I can get to that great spot that I got into yesterday. I wonder if I can feel that great feeling that I got yesterday. Because if you go in that negative sort of spiral of, oh my God, yesterday's session was so bad, today's session's going to suck. It's just the wrong attitude. You're going to have to find ways to make singing fun for yourself because, like I already mentioned, I would say practicing singing, it's a journey, but it really should be satisfying. And I think there are many ways to make it fun. What you enjoy about practicing singing might be very unique to you. So, you might enjoy singing over backing tracks like karaoke style, or you might like playing guitar and singing at the same time. But you got to find things that make you very happy when it comes to practicing. And obviously things that can still move you forward, okay? Like learning 5 different new songs in different styles maybe, or trying a new set of scales out. You got to keep things interesting, but you got to find what you enjoy, okay? And you got to find that internal motivation to really want to stick at it each and every day. So tip 6, the final one, in my opinion, this is the most important. What you need to have is a strong vision for yourself as a singer or as an artist, okay? And you need to continually reconnect with that vision when you're feeling self-doubt, when you're feeling unsure of yourself, or when you're feeling just confused in general, okay? So let's just say that you have an amazing dream of really pouring your heart and soul out on stage for, let's just say, thousands of adoring fans, okay? Or maybe you want to write so much great original music that you really put your heart and soul into, that so many people just love the sound of your voice, okay? Let's just say that's your dream. When you get stuck in the day-to-day grind, okay, and you're feeling lazy to practice, you're feeling stressed to practice, you're feeling tired and you don't want to practice, you need to remind yourself, okay, that's my dream. That's what initially got me excited about singing. I need to keep going. I need to, feel that internal motivation to keep moving myself forward and just reconnect with it. After all, we are pursuing music or trying to be better singers to improve our lives, to make ourselves happier, to make other people happier with our own creations and creativity, and ultimately just give our lives a little bit more interest and meaning, you know. I can't imagine how boring life would be if we didn't have something to aspire to personally. So I try to connect with it every time I'm feeling down. It's okay if your vision changes over time. I think that's completely okay. But just having that thing that launches you forward in times of questioning yourself and being confused, it's invaluable. It's necessary in my opinion. So continue with that, and I really think that amazing things can be done in this life. So that's it for today's video. I hope you liked it. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe if you hadn't already. If you haven't checked out my 5-day free course, you can do that. The link is in the description below. Also, I have a Patreon. If you haven't checked that out, I've got exclusive content on there and some really cool perks that you can check out. And you can add me on Instagram and send me a clip, and I'll be able to respond and give you a bit of a vocal assessment. So, yep, that's it from me. If you want to do any of those, you can go ahead and do that. But I'll see you in the next video anyway, and just thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.